Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm not exactly sure what this video is going to be about. I sat down with a couple ideas in mind. I really wanted to do another video on domestic violence and what I've been through with it. I don't know exactly what I want to talk about. I know there's a couple stories that I can tell that are pretty crazy that I'm sure people would want to hear, but I think that I'm going to talk about what that relationship did to me, and then later I might tell the story. I want to talk about how it affected me as a person, my personality and my feelings and my self-worth and things like that. It feels good to talk about this stuff. Just sometimes, I'm sure other people who've went through the same thing, it feels good to let it out, especially when you haven't talked a whole lot about it. I know I've told stories to my boyfriend, and I don't talk to my mom really about it. I had told her some things, after the divorce and things like that. I never went in depth of how it actually made me feel. I don't want my channel to absolutely be about domestic violence and awareness, but this is something that is very important to me, and it's something that I brushed off for a really long time. It caused a lot of problems in my life, and I'll talk about that later. It caused a lot of emotional trauma and things like that. Going through domestic abuse and domestic violence for 6 to 7 years was very hard on me. Not only did it leave me with broken bones and teeth and bruises, and who knows, my brain could have had damage, a chest infection, which I'll talk about later, and different things like that. What it did to me, besides the physical parts, is it tore me apart emotionally. And what I mean by that is, when you're a teenager, you feel like you can conquer the world. Like, you have so much time to do so many things, and nothing's gonna ruin that, right? You're gonna do everything that you want to do in life. You're gonna chase your dreams. You're gonna do what you want to do. When I was in high school, I went to college my sophomore year till I graduated high school. So I thought, I'm well on my way to being who I want to be. When I started getting abused and when other things started changing, I used to play sports. I played sports from the time I was a little kid until I got into high school. That control of that relationship took me to somewhere that I had never been. I was always the type of person to go for the things that I wanted and do the things that I wanted to do. I was very athletic. I was one of the star basketball players on my team. I was very smart in school, which didn't change because I did graduate high school while I was in college. I went to college until I graduated high school. I graduated from high school, and then after high school, I didn't go back to college until now. So what ended up happening with all of that emotional and physical abuse, I was afraid to go to school some days that I would have damage done to me because I knew people would say things. I didn't know exactly what they would say, but I knew people would be judgy, and I knew that maybe somebody might find out that things happened and they might tell someone and he might get in trouble. And I always protected my abuser, which is very common. I protected him because I didn't want to lose him, which doesn't make much sense if you really think about it. So in that time where I made the JV basketball team my freshman year, I literally felt like I could accomplish anything. I was working on my grades freshman year so that I could go into post-secondary. I felt like I was getting somewhere in life, and I had goals at that time. My goals were to play sports. I wanted to be in the WNBA. That was one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to college for basketball. Now, I'm real small, but I really thought that I could do it. It was something that I wanted to do. He treated me so bad, and he always wanted to be with me. When he wasn't at school or he wasn't doing his football shit, he wanted me to be with him. And I don't know if it was some kind of control thing or what it was, but he basically beat me down so far emotionally that I don't really know what was going on in my head, but I quit my basketball team. I wanted to spend every waking moment with this person, so I don't know what I was thinking. What I think happened was he had a hold on me emotionally and physically to the point where I wouldn't tell on him, you know what I mean? I was talking to my mom about why I never told anybody. She asked me why I never told anyone, and I said, it's not that easy to answer, and anyone who's been abused by their significant other can tell you the same thing. It's not as easy as you think it sounds, because if I would have told on him, he would have went to prison, which would have been an amazing thing looking back on it, because I wouldn't have almost died. I wouldn't have went through all the things that I went through. I was hospitalized multiple times by this person. Really, honestly, when I think about it, I wish that he would have went to prison. I wish that I would have told someone. And matter of fact, I did tell some people. Myself, I would tell someone if I knew that a young girl was being abused. I would tell someone personally. My hands are really dry, sorry. I would tell someone just because I know how it is to try and hide things from people. I was so afraid to tell on him. I don't know if I was afraid because if he found out he might try and kill me, or if I just didn't want to lose him. I almost felt like I deserved it, and that's very common too. You know, I felt like it was my fault and that I deserved it, but looking back on it, there's nothing that a human being can do for someone to start beating on you. Being a bitch is not an excuse to beat on a woman, or a guy being an asshole is not an excuse to beat on a man. Anyone who is laying their hands on someone else, unless they have put their hands on you, it is wrong. I don't understand why so many people go through domestic violence. I've done a lot of research about things like this, and there are signs was so young at the time, but I didn't see signs, you know what I mean? But there are signs that people show when they are becoming abusive, if they're becoming aggressive or they're controlling or things like that. There were times where he did want to control who I was hanging out with, what I was doing. Like at one point in time, I wasn't allowed to hang out with one of my friends that I grew up with. It was just a toxic relationship that drug me down. Being with that person was so toxic that it ruined my self-image. It's taken me years. It has taken me years to get back what I lost being with him. And now that I think about it, all of the things that I went through after that was not only related to that, there was other things that went on in my life too, but it was not only related to that, but I think it was directly related to that because he was a bad influence on me too. He tried to get me to smoke weed with him. I had one of my first drinks with him. He tried to get me to do things that he wanted me to do. Here's the funny thing about abusers is, you know, he took care of me financially. He bought me my first cell phone. He would buy me various things and he would take care of me and do whatever I needed done, but he would hold that over my head and use it against me. And then once I got married to him, he didn't want me to work. He wanted me to go to school and didn't want me to work, and he said it was because he wanted me to get my education. And I wanted to work at that time. I don't know if that was the truth or he just wanted me to sit at home and do what he wanted me to do. There were good parts of that relationship, but mostly bad. And thinking back on it, I honestly can't remember how things got started, like how each situation would start out is what I mean. Like I remember him just snapping, and I don't know if it was just an anger management problem or he's actually a psychopath or what, but anyone who lays their hands on a woman or any woman who lays their hands on a man, if they have not touched you first, anybody puts their hands on someone when they haven't done anything to you other than make you mad, is a piece of shit. You don't put your hands on people. And that's like one of the first things you learn in life is keep your hands to yourself. In school, you learn to keep your hands to yourself. Your parents should enforce that too. But I know that his family, I don't want to go to him dead about his family because that's something I don't care about, but his family wasn't a very healthy family. But he made me feel like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and I put off for a lot of years the things that I wanted to do. I graduated high school when I was 18, and I did not go back to college to graduate until this year, well, 2016. And I think a lot of that, because I was only with him till I was 21, so it was a couple years until I went back to college, but I feel like he had a huge impact on how I felt as a person. I was full of nothing but negativity. I literally felt like a victim all the time. I felt like when I did get into another relationship after him, I was literally afraid of being hurt, which is normal. When he would go to hug me, the guy that I got with after him, I would flinch and I would feel like he might hit me. And it wasn't because he was abusive, it was because I had been abused. And he would be like, "What is wrong with you? Like, why are you flinching?" Because I got beat up. And I got beat up for years. And I had been hospitalized and I had my tooth knocked out and I had various things happen to me. That's why I flinched and that's why I was scared. I want to encourage anyone who's going through a situation like that to get out now. Even if it's verbal abuse, because verbal abuse is just as bad as physical. It just doesn't leave scars on your body. Verbal abuse is something that can be emotionally damaging too, because when you call someone names for so long, they start to believe that that's what they are. Just because someone calls you a bitch or a skank or a whore for years doesn't mean you are. That's just what they think. That's how they feel, because they have a bad self-image. They want to put that on you. They want to make you feel like you're the bad person, that you are what they are, which is not true. Abusers always want to make the other person feel the way they do because they don't like themselves. themselves and they don't like who they are. So they want you to not like who you are. They want you to hate yourself like they hate their self. Basically, I always felt like I was not good enough. I felt like the dreams that I was chasing were not feasible, that I could not do those things. I felt like I couldn't accomplish anything that I wanted to accomplish. I felt like I always needed someone. Pretty sure I developed codependency from that relationship, which psychologically doesn't make sense to me, because people who go through situations like that sounds like you would not want to be with someone, but I always wanted to be comforted and treated right. And I think that is common for people to want someone after they've been through something like that. Of course, not someone who's abusive. I'm very lucky to be in this situation I am now. I just feel like I'm very lucky to be where I'm at in life now, and I got the courage to leave him. And when I got the courage to leave him, that was one of the hardest things I ever did, which I will do a story time on that. But I don't want to continue to do story times about this over and over and over. I might do like 4 or 5 of them because it was such a big part of my life, but I don't want it to be what my channel is about, because that's not all of who I am. I am so much more than that, and I have grown from that situation. The positive things that I gained from that are, I know that I'm strong and that I can get through anything. I know that when things start going wrong, you have to get out of that situation, because even if it only is verbal abuse at first, physical abuse is probably soon to follow. And I also learned that, just because someone has an opinion of you and they tell you what their opinion is and try to drill it into your head, you don't have to believe it. I went through some other things after my abuse, and that's one of the things I may talk about later too. It's really hard for me to talk about that because it's a really touchy subject in society, and it's a touchy subject for me to talk about publicly. A lot of people who probably watch this video will know what I went through soon after that. I went through it for years, so I encourage anyone who's been through that or is going through that to move on with your life. There's so much more out there for you. That person who lays their hands on you and does those things to you is not worthy of you. There's someone out there who will love you, and they will take care of you, and they will cherish you, and they will treat you like you are like the only person in the world. There is someone. I don't care who you are. Think about it. There are billions of people in this world. You don't think that there's someone out there for you? Because there is. Don't give up hope. And if you don't have the strength to get away today, go tomorrow or go the next day. But don't keep putting it off, because the longer you put it off, the more damage you cause to yourself. They can end up killing you. They can end up really hurting you. I don't want to see more stories on people being beaten and abused because they stuck around. I hate seeing those stories. I hate that there has to be 100 groups for Stop Domestic Violence on Facebook, which I had no clue that there was this many people that go through these things. I knew that domestic violence was common, but I didn't know how common it actually was. It's something that is a huge problem. Domestic violence and domestic abuse is so common that you honestly wouldn't believe. I just feel so terrible for all these people that are still continuing to go through those things. I know that if I went through that today, I'd be gone. I would be gone. If I literally thought that something was going to happen like that in my relationship now, if I felt like it was heading there, I would be gone. And that's because I have gained that strength and knowledge to get out of the situation before it gets there. I always felt like when I was with that guy that it would get better. We went a whole year without him hurting me. Come to think of it, it was because he was in California for 7 to 8 months. The only reason I even married him is because he promised me that he wasn't going to hit me anymore, because I told him, you lay your hands on me again and I'm not going to be with you. I wish I had those letters, but I'm pretty sure I left them in California, and he probably burned them or whatever he did. But I wish I had those letters to show you guys. I told him, you lay your hands on me one more time and I'm gone. And I will talk about that story later, because I do want to tell that story, because it's actually a success story about leaving someone. At least don't let someone have that kind of hold on you. You don't deserve that. You do deserve better. You deserve to have a great life and to do everything you want to do without someone holding you back, because that's what abusers do. They make you feel like you can't do what you want to do and that you aren't worthy of your dreams and your goals. You are. You are so worthy. You are worthy. And I just want everyone to know that there is a hotline that you can call. It is the National Domestic Violence Helpline. they will get you to where you need to be. And I want to let you know, don't be afraid to call someone. I've offered multiple times for people to get a hold of me if you were going through something. I will never talk to anyone about it. That will be something between me and you. I don't care who you are. People may wonder if they can trust me or not, but I know what it's like to go through that, and I know what it's like to not have anyone to talk to about it. I know what it's like to feel alone. I know what it's like to be afraid to tell anyone. There are multiple resources that can get you a place to live, that can help you with expenses, that can help you do what you need to do, especially if you have kids. And not only if you have kids, if you're a single woman and you're in a situation like that, they can help you. I wanted to tell you guys thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry it was so long, but don't let anyone tell you you can't do what you want to do. Don't let anyone control what you do. Don't let anyone make you feel that you were less worthy of what you were worth, because you are worthy. You're amazing and you're beautiful. Don't let people drag you down like that. You don't deserve it. Do yourself a favor and get away from them, no matter what the cost. Thank you guys for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys later. Bye.